Have you ever had a single phone call change your life? Well, I did. It was almost 10 years ago, on a sunny summer day. As the Rebbe and sports director of a local day camp, I had taken our campers on a 3-day overnight trip. This was day one, and we were having a fantastic time at a water park. And then, I got the phone call. It was my wife. She was clearly distraught. I could barely understand what she was saying. I remember it like yesterday, standing in a water park, children running around, screaming and laughing, having the time of their life, while I had my phone glued to my ear, pacing back and forth as my wife told me what she had heard from our doctor. I remember hearing phrases like a very, very small chance, and I would consider other options. The most dramatic scriptwriter couldn't capture a scene with such a jarring contrast: jubilation and devastation, excitement and trauma, all in a single moment. It was surreal. And then the questions started flooding into my head. Is this just a small hookup? Or something we'll be dealing with for a long time? Could it be he's wrong, and all we need is another opinion? Is this really happening to us? Are we the only ones? And most importantly, what's next? Where do we turn for help? The questions were endless. We felt completely lost, not knowing where to turn. Baruch Hashem, my wife was and still is very close with her college teacher, Rebbe Shanik, who was here tonight with her husband, Rav Moshe Shanik Shlita, a close friend of mine, a longtime Shas-a-Thon Lomed. My wife reached out to her, and her response was swift and sure. Call a time, she said. And so, my wife made the call. It took courage. It took determination, but as soon as she heard Mrs. Vivian Moskowitz, ATIME's helpline director, say, "Hello, ATIME," she knew she had made the right move. Have you ever had a single phone call change your life? Well, now we had two. That one courageous phone call gave us our lifeline. Our lonely, isolated world, defined by this challenge, began to expand with each subsequent call. Calls filled with education on our diagnosis, referrals to the right doctors, words of comfort and chizuk, all climaxing with the life-changing experience of our first ATIME Shas-a-Thon. Our once very small and quiet world, dimmed by our ever-present nisayon, was expanded and enlightened through a massive network of couples, fellow ATIME brothers and sisters, traveling the same road, who are now a supportive and loving family. They deserve a round of applause, they do. Little did we know this was only the beginning. We had joined ATIME, but over the years, we slowly became ATIME. We got involved on various fronts, being a host couple at Shas-a-Thon, schmoozing with dozens of couples to receive and provide much-needed chizuk, speaking at Shas-a-Thons, coordinating and hosting events, and even serving as MC at the Shas-a-Thon one year. Possibly the highlight. Big shout out to the big two. You know who you are. ATIME wasn't just a bonus in our lives, it became part of who we are, bringing us purpose, connection, and strength. Fast forward in 2021, it brings with it another life-altering phone call. ATIME is looking for an executive director to enhance and expand their vital work. And I get a call to discuss the possibility of me formally joining the organization in that role. At the time, I was working in Manhattan as a manager in a large consulting firm. I'm talking corporate America at its best, a far cry from the ATIME office on the corner of 13th and 4th of the A Street in Borough Park, the view of Amnon's Pizza and Toys for You. At first I said no. I had a solid career ahead of me. Such a drastic career change just didn't make any sense. But the more I thought about it, the more I spoke to the founders of ATIME, my dear friends, Rabbi and Mrs. Rosen. The more I considered what it could mean for us and for my ATIME family, it was no longer just an offer. It was a golden opportunity. What a dream. The opportunity to witness on a daily basis the Mesiras Nefesh and care of the staff. Imagine being able to work alongside someone like our Director of Medical Affairs, Mordechai Koenig. In the past, I knew him as a brilliant advisor for our own situation. Now I could work alongside him and see him help countless other couples in real time. The chance to marry my professional skills and experience with my greatest passion in life, not only helping my brothers and sisters build Yiddish families, but help them to be strong, besimcha, and grow through the struggle, it was almost too good to be true. I know the challenge. I know the pain. I know the isolation. How can I turn down the opportunity to devote my life to this work and help ATIME best support other couples like us? And so, I accepted the offer and haven't looked back. Being a member of the ATIME family, I was always amazed by the work they do, the work which you, our Lom Dim and sponsors, turn from dream into reality. Thank you, our Lom Dim and sponsors. Give yourself a round of applause. This is unbelievable what you do here every year. Unbelievable. But after joining full time and seeing what goes on behind the scenes, I was absolutely blown away by the breadth and depth of services ATIME provides on a daily basis. Things many people aren't even aware of. I'll sit with Mrs. Chumi Friedman, the director of HUG, our pregnancy loss support service. And I try and hold back my tears in her office as I listen to what she and her team deal with each day, the pain that enters through the phone lines, and the care with which we hold up our couples and help them get through their challenges in a healthy way. Aside from dealing with all the heartbreaking logistics of a loss, which no one should ever have to hear about. Sitting with Rav Yosef Moshe Halpern, our Ashkacha director, strategizing our plan to get our mashgichim into the next hospital or center across the country where there is a need. I can see how challenging and impactful this work is, work that barely anyone sees. Seeing all this up close and personal on a daily basis, it's overwhelming. The only thing more painful than seeing someone go through a challenge feeling helpless is seeing them go through a challenge feeling helpless when the help they need is just a phone call away. And all they have to do is reach out. And so, this has become my mission, to enhance and expand our services to ensure that no couple should go through this journey alone. There is no greater satisfaction than hearing the buzz in the office about the great news. Another ATIME couple has achieved their dream, and we were there every step of the way to make it as smooth and painless as possible. I know it's not easy. This nisayon is a personal and intimate one. The courage it takes to make that first call to our helpline cannot be underestimated. It's not a small thing. My wife and I made that call that changed everything. And my hope is that every couple out there who needs our help makes that one call too. Perhaps you too will be able to say a single phone call changed your life. I'm confident you will be. To that end, I'd like to speak directly to all those out there dealing with this nisayon. Everyone else can listen in as well. We know the struggle, the pain of waiting. How can we thrive and even smile through this journey? Recently, I was talking to our rabbinical director of Chaim about a remarkable vart I saw from a goner of Yehuda Rabinowitz in his Sefer Karim Chamed. The Midrash describes in Parshas Miketz how the Shvatim reprimanded and shamed Binyamin when Yosef's goblet was discovered in his sack. Ganva bar ganvasa, they accused. You're a thief, the son of a thief. You shamed our father, your mother shamed our father, and now you have shamed us. Binyamin suffered from his brother's unfounded suspicion through verbal and physical abuse. They literally whipped him. The Medrash Tanchuma explains that in return for his suffering, Binyamin merited that the Beis HaMikdash with the Kodesh HaKadoshim was built in his portion of Yerushalayim. But not the whole Beis HaMikdash. Part of it was in the portion of Yehuda. The Gemara in Yuma explains that Binyamin was always bitzar, that he didn't have the full Harabayas in his portion. explains Rabbi Yehuda Rabbeinu, it's a fascinating insight. Yehuda had promised their father Yaakov that he would watch out for Binyamin and bring him home safely. So he didn't join his brothers in attacking and shaming Binyamin. In this merit, a small part of the Beis HaMikdash, including the Mizbeach, extended into Yehuda's territory. And that precisely was why Binyamin was in distress, because Yehuda did not hit him and shame him. Had Yehuda joined in the attack, the entire Beis HaMikdash would have been in Binyamin's territory. If only I would have received just a bit more tsar during that incident, Binyamin thought to himself. My portion would be that much greater. Unbelievable. This teaches us that every tsar, anguish, every ounce of suffering, lacking, or loss in life is only a kli, a prelude leading into the tremendous blessing that Hashem has in store for us. Like the bodybuilder can smile through the pain of his workout, knowing with confidence the results his pain will produce. Easier said than done, I know. I've been there, and I'm still there. We've heard from previous speakers sharing their personal journey about the challenges of Yom Tov. Last year, we heard from my close chaver, Rabbi Yoli Leifer Shlita, how difficult Leil Seder can be for a couple waiting for children. For me, Hanukkah is one that always sticks out. I grew up each year Hanukkah with the sea of lights. All my siblings would light. The many flames flickered joyously in good company. I always look forward to the time when I would have my own sea of lights flickering and dancing in our home. I imagined the flames reflected in sparkling eyes in an endless cycle of life and light. I couldn't imagine Hanukkah in any other form. It has been over a decade since our chasana. And we have celebrated many Hanukkahs in our quiet home. There is still just one menorah, just one set of flames looking lonely amidst the could-have-beens. I try and strengthen myself, thinking that ma'at min or just a little bit of light, can dispel vast darkness. But I'm overwhelmed by this lone menorah, silently pleading with Hashem to surround it with more lechtalach. It was Hanukkah 2 years ago, the fifth night. The fifth night is unique in that it's the only night of Hanukkah that can never fall on Shabbos, symbolizing that the light of Hanukkah can reach the farthest, darkest places even the light of Shabbos cannot reach. I stare into my 5 little flames, aware of the dream candles that have remained for so many years just that, a dream, a prayer. The words of Hallel sung earlier that day circled in my mind in an endless loop. Over the years, Hallel has become more and more precious and meaningful to me, with certain phrases taking on a new and personal interpretation. Ha'emanti ki adaber, ani anisi ma'od. I have my emunah, my strong faith in Hashem and His ultimate goodness. I have it because I say, ki adaber, ani anisi ma'od. I am so afflicted. Because of my challenges that have brought me so much closer to Hashem and my faith in Him. Only He is in charge. Odcha Hashem ki anisani, batihili lishua. I thank Hashem ki anisani, because He has afflicted me, He has pained me, and that itself is my redemption. Being able to see Hashem in my struggle, it brings me strength and salvation, even while still enduring the challenge. Culminating with Zayom Masa Hashem, Nagila V'nism Chavo. This day, yes, precisely this day, in the midst of our challenge, we are besimcha because we are experiencing our Yeshua right now. We may not fully understand why, but we know that all the difficulty has brought us greater purpose, meaning, and connection to our life, bringing us closer to Hashem and to our ultimate salvation. And yes, These words are also a tefillah. A desperate plea to bring us to that special day. When we will hold our child in our hands and exclaim, Zeh hayom asa Hashem. This is the day Hashem was preparing us for all these years. Zeh hayom. This day, and not a moment sooner or later. The 5 little flames flickered before me as these words of Hal played in my mind. I was begging Hashem and thanking Him simultaneously. There was light, so much light, amidst all the darkness. Slowly, a niggin came to life in my mind, and I felt comforted. Nicham Tanu. If I may, I would like to share that niggin with you.
nisani Hoyoedecha v'ki nisani v'babu